So in the first part of this chapter, solution, we have read up to Henry's law. Now in this chapter, I will tell you about Raoult's law. I will revise the law, and next after that I will revise all the colligative properties and related formula in this chapter. Okay, so let's start with Raoult's law. Statement for Raoult's law you all know. Okay, I am just writing the equation or the formula. Raoult's law can be applied for two cases, one for volatile solute and one for non-volatile solute. So let us first write Raoult's law for non-volatile solute. In the solution, if we use non-volatile solute, then the Raoult's law is given as delta P divided by PA0 equals to 1 minus XA and for volatile solute we will have P2 equals to X2 P2 0. Okay, so these are the two forms of, okay, just you can use A, you can use 1 for A. I mean to say that 1 represents solute and 2 represents solvent. Okay, so for volatile and non-volatile, and for volatile also, P1 equals to X1 into P1 0. Okay, now 1 and 2 represent solute and solvent respectively, and on the next note, what in the next, X2 is the mole fraction of solute, X1 is the mole fraction of the solvent. Here delta P is the change in pressure of the solution. Okay, where P10, this 0 or this naught signifies that this value at pure condition. So what are the term? P naught is pressure at pure condition, and del P is equals to change in pressure after making, okay, this is out of screen, okay, sorry, delta change in pressure after forming solution. Okay, so these are the related terms to Raoult's law. Okay, now after Raoult's law, we will read about ideal solution and non-ideal solution. Ideal solution. Solution which follows Raoult's law, known as ideal solution. There is non-ideal solution also. This is easy. Non-ideal solution are the solution which do not follow Raoult's law. Okay, so you have done with ideal solution and non-ideal solution. Okay, I have given the comparison between ideal solution and non-ideal solution. I have given the data in the note. In the note I provided, the PDF I provided for the solution chapter. Okay, so there was written what is azeotropic mixture and what is azeotropic solution, and what are the properties of azeotropic solution or azeotropic mixture, and what is positive deviation, what is negative deviation. All the data and information are given to you in the PDF. So please go through the PDF, you will find everything on that. So this is revising class. Okay, revision class. So that's why I am fast and going in short. Okay, so colligative property, let's read about colligative properties. What is colligative property? Colligative property are the properties which depends on the number of particles or number of moles of solute. The property which depends on the number of particle or number of moles of solute are known as colligative property. Okay, so we are going to read about 4 types of colligative property. They are: first colligative property is lowering of vapor pressure. The second property is elevation of boiling point. Okay, the third colligative property we will read, that is depression of freezing point. Fourth is osmotic pressure. Fourth is osmotic pressure. Okay, so this is the thing we have to read about 4 colligative properties. One is lowering of vapor pressure, second is elevation of boiling point, third is depression of freezing point, fourth is osmotic pressure. So let's read one by one. First of all, we will read about lowering of vapor pressure. Raoult's law that was written earlier, which is exactly same to the point of lowering of vapor pressure. The mathematical formula for lowering of vapor pressure is same as the Raoult's law, which is delta P by P0 is equals to x2 or 1 by x1 minus x1. So this is the Raoult's law, and this is the formula to calculate lowering of vapor pressure in the solution. Okay, so second is elevation of boiling point, and the formula to calculate the elevated boiling point, or to calculate the elevation of boiling point, we use the formula delta TB is equals to KB into M, where delta TB is the change in boiling point, change in BP. BP means boiling point. KB is the what does it say? Ebullioscopic constant. Ebullioscopic constant. Actually, delta TB is directly proportional to M. Okay, so KB is basically a proportionality constant, but the particular name used for KB is ebullioscopic constant. Now M is the molality. Okay, and we know, okay, it is out of screen. Molality is out of screen. M equals to molality. Okay, this formula can be represented as also like this: delta TB is equals to KB into W2 into 1000 divided by M2 into W1. Okay, now this term is equals to the molality. So in place of molality, if we place this formula, then we get the complete formula like this. Okay, so simple mathematics came from these topics. Okay, so just be careful and remember this formula. Now the third one is depression of freezing point, delta TF, which is equals to KF into M, molality. Similar formula where delta TF is the change in freezing point, where delta TF is change in freezing point, and Kf is known as cryoscopic constant. Kf is also a proportionality constant of proportionality, but the particular name used for Kf is cryoscopic constant. And now finally M is the molality, so we can write the formula like this. If we replace the formula of molality, then we will get the formula like this. Okay, now the fourth one. The fourth one is osmotic pressure. So pi, which is the osmotic pressure, which is calculated as pi equals to CRT, where C is equals to concentration, or it is also known as molarity. R is the universal gas constant. T equal to temperature. Okay. So this is the formula for osmotic pressure, right? Now you must know about the Ventop factor. Ventop factor. What is Ventop factor? I, Ventop factor, is equals to the ratio of experimental data divided by theoretical data. Okay. Now, by using this Ventop factor, we can change the previously learned formula like this. delta P minus P0 equals to I into X2. This is the first one. Second one is delta TV equals to I KB into M. Just multiply I. Just multiply I. Pi equals to CRT and I CRT will be the new formula. So these new formula are actually according to the Van't Hoff. Why Van't Hoff factor is included in this formula? Because no solution, okay, no solution is completely ideal or 100% ideal. Okay, there are some association and there are some dissociation. That's why there is a difference between experimental value and theoretical value. So to compromise with the difference between experimental value and the theoretical value, we just include I, the Van't Hoff factor, in the formula. We just incorporated the formula with I. This is because to manipulate the difference between experimental and theoretical data. Now these are the new formula. If you are being instructed in your question that just use I, okay, so then you must have use I in the formula. Otherwise it is not mentioned that I is not mentioned in the question, then just avoid I in the formula. Just write the formula as you learned before. Okay, now why there is difference between experimental and theoretical value? This is due to the association and dissociation of the solute when they are dissolved in solvent, right? Now look at the case of association. So look at this compound, you know it well. It is acetic acid, CH3COOH. I have written in this form to show you the association. So look at the hydrogen bonding taking place between two CH3COOH or two acetic acid molecule, right? So due to this hydrogen bonding or due to the formation of the hydrogen bonding, we can say the two solute associated with each other by this by the hydrogen bonding like this. Now if you use 2 CH3COOH, then they will become 1 CH3COOH whole 2. This is due to association. When CH3COOH as a solute added to the solution, then they dimerize like this, and due to this association we find the difference between experimental data and the theoretical data. Another point is dissociation. We have seen the example of association. Now we are going to read about dissociation and how the solute get dissociated in the solution. Look at NaCl. You all know NaCl is ionic compound, and when dissolved in water, then it will give the corresponding cation and anion, which is Na plus and Cl minus. So Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. Now if you use 1 mole of NaCl, suppose you are adding 1 mole of NaCl into H2O, then they will give you 1 mole of Na plus and 1 mole of chlorine minus separately. So if you are calculating with 1 mole, then you are wrong, because NaC 1 mole NaCl after added to water, they become 1 mole of Na plus and 1 mole of Cl minus separately. So you have added 1 mole, you got 2 mole. So that's why there is a difference between experimental value and theoretical value. So that's why we use I instead of just writing simple formula. We use I. Okay, so that is to be mentioned in your question. Otherwise you use the same formula, the pi equals to CRT, you use same formula, pi equals to CRT. But if you being instructed to use Hunter factor, then just you use pi equals to ICRT. Okay. So whenever we found a dissociation and association, and for their colligative property, we use the term abnormal colligative property. And abnormal colligative property is due to the association and dissociation. Okay. Now remember two formula also. Alpha is equals to I minus 1 by n minus 1. Okay. And beta is equals to I minus 1 divided by 1 by n minus 1. So remember these two formula. I will let you know about the terms. What are the terms signify? Look, alpha. What is alpha here? Alpha equals to the percent of dissociation for the salt or the for the solutes they which got dissociated. For them, alpha is the percent of dissociation, right? Now what is I? I is the Van 't Hoff factor. N, what is N? Number of atom or ion associated or dissociated, right? And what is beta? What is beta? Beta is the percent of association. Okay, so this is the finish of chapter solution. I will send you the PDF of questions, practice questions, okay, from this chapter. Thank you.